Hi, Patrick Ogle for GearWire, and I am holding in my hands an Art Lutherie Ami guitar. One of the reasons I'm talking about this is that it's my son's guitar. It's his first guitar, and he doesn't want to be on video. He's camera shy. But a number of people have recently asked me, both new musicians and people who are buying something. Two different people asked me what they should get for their kid, and I tried to come up with something other than this, some other things to add to this, but I came up with the Art Lutherie Ami, and then I stopped and had to think for like 20 minutes before I could recommend anything else. Part of the reason is you're talking about a 7-year-old or somebody that age. This is a very small guitar. The other thing about this guitar is these guitars, the guy that sold this guitar to me, I'm not going to mention the name of the shop, was unaware, didn't know much about these guitars. He just said, well, they're all laminate. Every guitar is laminate now. There's no such thing as solid wood guitars. And it's just like, you work at a guitar shop and you think that's true. But anyway, I went to the Art Lutherie website and we looked up the Amis and their other guitars. And there are 6 models of Amis. Different models. Generally speaking, they're just different colors. They look different. Some of them are fancier. Some of them are less fancy. But all 5 of the 6 have solid tops and solid backs and sides. The tops are either cedar or spruce, mostly cedar. And the backs and sides are, I think it says wild red cherry. This guitar costs less than $200. You can find this guitar for $185 new. You can find used ones for maybe a little bit less than that. And some of the fancier schmancier models are probably a little bit more than that. But none of them are going to get anywhere near $300. And they're just super duper guitars. I forget who the first person I showed it to was, and their reaction was, boy, I don't know how they do it. And then the second person I showed it to was a gentleman by the name of Bill Harden, Rockin' Billy, who makes Harden guitars, and he adjusted the truss rod and did a little bit of work, as you may need to have done on any new guitar. They're not set up exactly right, because there's a dead fret. And he said exactly the same thing. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they make these guitars for this much money. And it sounds good. I mean, if it were in tune. But the other thing is that when I pulled it out of the case, it was pretty much in tune. It was a little bit off, like it is now. Yeah, all of the different models of this guitar, and there was a higher end one there too. And they're just nice. They sound good. And it's not just that you'd want to buy this. These are great guitars for people just starting out, whether they're a kid or not. And I always say this, and some people think I'm being like a sexist pig. This is a guitar for women. Well, in point of fact, women a lot of times do not have giant monkey hands like mine. Women's hands maybe are a little bit smaller than men's. And they may want a guitar that's smaller like this. It's also something that you can carry around with you easier. If you're looking for something, you don't want a backpacker because they sound terrible because they're like this big. Well, they don't sound terrible, but they don't sound very good either. The sound doesn't carry. This is another thing about this guitar. You could carry this around without too much trouble. It's very small. So there's all kinds of applications for it. New guitar player, somebody with small hands, somebody who wants to have a guitar they can carry around. And you know what? I want one of these guitars. I want one of them. They sound good. They have a for the size of this body, they sound much, much bigger. I have sat here with an Epiphone Jumbo on my lap that didn't sound as big as this little parlor guitar. Craftsmanship, the wood, you can look inside and see that it's just, they're braced like crazy. Now, admittedly, maybe it's because it's a small body, it's easier to brace. But I'm going to say this too. While I was looking at this guitar, I looked at a number of the other Arts Lutherie acoustics. I have said nice things about a number of low-end, low-price. I'm not going to say low-end. Low-end is not the right thing to say. I'm going to say low-priced acoustic guitars. I've talked about some Washburn, like I think it was the D10S, was a nice acoustic guitar for a very low price. But I have to say this about the Arts and Lutherie. Their dreadnoughts and their dreadnought cutaways that I played sounded fantastic. They were fantastic, and they cost like $300. And so again, I have to say what everybody else says. I don't know how they do it. I have no idea. Some kind of Canadian magic. And I looked also at the 10 different dreadnought styles that they offer on their website. And if I recall correctly, my memory is like a 95-year-old man who's taken too many blows to the head. But if I recall correctly, I believe 8 of the 10 were solid wood tops, back and sides. And so that's just impressive all around. And so big kudos to the Arts and Lutherie guitar, the Ami especially, since that's what we have sitting here. I'd recommend this to just about anybody. You know, just go get one. Just get one. Go get one right now.